If you looked at a map of the world, you would see that some areas have many towns and cities, while other areas seem to have very few people living there. Why do people choose to live in some places and not in others? The reasons have a lot to do with geography. Many people choose to live near water. That's because they need water for drinking and for growing food to eat. Another reason many cities are located near the water is because traveling by boat is an easy way to get from place to place. Water also makes it easier to transport goods. You probably would not find many people living on top of a mountain. It is too hard to get there, and it would be too difficult to build houses on its steep slopes. You are much more likely to find a city in a fairly flat area, because building houses and roads would be easier. It is also easier to grow crops on flat ground. People like to live in places that have a nice climate. Many people choose to live in Florida because it is warm there all year long. Few people live in the desert because it is too hot. You won't find many people living at the North Pole either because the weather is too cold. The people who do live there have had to learn ways to survive the harsh polar climate. People choose to live in areas that have the natural resources they need. Throughout history, people have settled where they could find soil, water, and sunlight needed to grow food. Other natural resources attract people too. Many people moved to the western United States during the gold rush in the 1800s. Most of the gold may be gone now, but the cities that sprang up there, such as Denver, Colorado, and San Francisco, California, remain. Geography not only affects where people choose to live, but also how they live. People who live by the water are more likely to travel by boat and eat a lot of fish. You might also find a lot of people working as fishermen near the ocean. Many people who live on flat land make their living as farmers. You probably wouldn't find many farmers in the mountains, but you might see a lot of people mountain climbing there during their free time. People who live in hot climates wear very light clothing and build houses that let in the cool night breezes. People in very cold climates wear fur to keep warm and live in houses that are well insulated against the cold. Natural resources affect how people live too. People who live in places with a lot of trees might live in houses built of wood. In the desert, where there are no trees, people build their houses from clay bricks dried in the hot sun. In areas with large deposits of coal and iron ore, many people make their living as miners, or they might work in the factories that turn these natural resources into steel.